Alright investors, welcome back to the channel OneOneCoco. Remember OneOneCoco full basket. Today we're going to be looking at our 2025 Q2 dividend results, and we say that our theme for today is getting your dividends to work for you, because we do think that there are lots of things that we can get our dividends to be doing in between time. And so let's get right into the presentation. Alright, so this is my journal showing my results, my financial journey, and should not be used as by any means recommendations to buy any stock. I'm not a financial advisor. Well, you would know that by now, right? I'm not qualified to give financial advice, so before you invest, please go consult a financial advisor. Alright, this is our portfolio holdings. Maybe we should start with the smallest of them all, and we still have Barita Investments. It's just 1%. I think it's 1 point something percent of our holdings. We have not added anything to Barita for this quarter. I don't know if Barita is doing yet what we want Barita to be doing, but we still hold our position, and I do think that maybe we will still be building out, but maybe slowly, instead of using all our dividends or any new capital that we have added to the portfolio to go into Barita to just be sitting there for a while. I do think that there are other things that we could be doing with our cash, and so we have not added to our Barita position. We still have Dollar Financial Services. Dollar Financial Services is another long-term hold in my portfolio. For this quarter that we're reporting, well, today I'm reporting on the 14th of August 2025. We have not gotten dividends from Dollar, and the share price, I think, has fallen. Well, in my portfolio the share price has fallen about 17% or so, so we're down quite a bit on Dollar Financial Services. And then I actually listened to their earnings call today. I actually listened to it live, and I don't know if I can say that I wasn't that impressed for sure. But there are certain things that are going to be beyond the control of the executives in a company, and I do think that Dollar is still doing well enough to still hold the stock. And because I'm down on my longer term position in Dollar, I do not see the need right now to dispose of it, because I definitely would be taking a loss there, and I don't think that there is a need for it right now, and so we're still holding Dollar. I did inquire about the dividend payments for this quarter. We hope to see something paid, and so we can, well, it's not about feeling good, right? We can see some income or something coming from Dollar. We can't just have it sitting there not doing anything. We've had stocks like that before. Well, not Dollar. Dollar is not as bad as some of the ones that have sold out of. But for now, yes, we're still holding Dollar. We are not that concerned about it. The only thing I would say though is that when we see MJE and all their affiliate companies, or Mayberry and all their affiliate companies taking a very big stake in Dollar, I don't know if that's reason for concern. because in my view, or not just in my view, but what I've seen, what I've noticed, I've observed over the period, is that sometimes when I maybe take a stake in a company, man, it doesn't do as well. I don't know. I don't think that they're at fault. Maybe it's just bad luck. But for now, we're still holding dollar for sure. We have no great concern. We are down quite a bit on that position. Cygnus Credit Invest says here that we have it is 11% of our holdings. Cygnus has been doing very well in recent times. I noticed that it is up. It is the first time in a long time that I am up positively with Cygnus. I think that it went a little over my average purchase price, and so I am in the green for once. I had to take a screenshot of it the other day because I knew that it wouldn't have lasted long, even though I am just slightly down, but I was in a position of advantage for a while there. I took a screenshot of that. You don't see that very often, but I'm looking forward quite for the third quarter dividend that they will pay, because they pay good dividends, right? And I get to use that to reinvest into some other positions that I will take. So Cygnus Credit Invest, I'm still holding 11% of that. GK, man, Grace Kennedy, is still doing well. It's just a little below, well, 13% of my portfolio, but it's just a little below my purchase price there, or maybe say about 5% below my purchase price. I'm not overly concerned about GK. GK pays very steady dividends, and I actually took some time today to listen or watch the farewell for Don Webby, and this great man has done so much for Jamaica. And as I said before, that is one of the reasons why I took a stake in GK. I had, well, not just because of him, right, but I do respect his leadership that he had at GK there. But good succession planning they have over there, so I have no concerns at all. I did take some time out there to pay my respect to the Don Webby. What good. Alright, so GK, we're still expecting good things from GK, and we are still being paid, but a small dividends for me based on my purchase price is about 2.5% there. I'm still being paid to hold it, and I am not very concerned about it now. PBS 9.25 says that I'm holding 15% there. I think that it may have gone up a little since I made this chart, because sometimes I make the chart and I don't get to make the presentation at the same time, and so it's been there for a little. But yes, it's just about right, or very close to it, approximate figure there, 15%. I still get good dividends from PBS 9.25. I've used that to reinvest into other positions, so I'm still holding that firm. Carreras, man, Carreras, I think maybe it's a showstopper. Carreras has appreciated so much in value. If I check on my money JA here to see where it's at today, it says that closing price was $17.16, which is quite impressive from where it has been coming from. So it has been taking up a larger stake of my portfolio holdings, a larger percentage for sure, 20% there. And not only that, but it's paying me very good dividends. I cannot complain about Carreras. I'm still holding my position, and no, I have not added to my position in a very long time. And personally, I do not think that it would make a lot of sense to add to that position now. I would prefer to use that money to do something else, because at this price where I am way over 100% in capital gains, I don't know if that would even make sense for me to be adding to Carreras now. But I do have a fairly good position there, and I want to keep my portfolio diversified. I know I do not want to be overexposed in any area, because as much as Carreras looks good today, and in hindsight you could always say, well, I should have bought more. You do not know what the future holds, and there can be just a little news and all of a sudden you have lost half of that position to whatever, so I do think that it is still important to keep a portfolio diversified. You don't want to diversify too much, right? But you don't want to over concentrate too much either. I still do hold that position that diversifying your portfolio is very important. To keep it diversified. I do think that I would like to ideally hold about 10 positions based on the amount that I want to put in each position, in each security. I probably, well, I wouldn't say now, but I'm sure that if you've been following for a while, you would have an idea as to how much the goal is for me to put into each position when I have fully built them out. If I'm still building the position, then it could be less, right? But if I've fully built out a position, I want to be at a certain amount, and I do not want to overexpose myself to just one company, no matter how much dividend they pay me. Because one of the things I have been keeping in mind while building out this portfolio is that I do not want to receive dividends at the expense of my capital that I've invested. What I mean by that is that I do not want to, even if a company is paying me a huge amount of dividend or a huge percentage, I do not want my capital that I have worked hard for and invested in this company to reduce, whether by deflation, or I'm still looking at at a different figure, because I could be looking at the same figure. Let us say, for instance, I invested $100,000 there. I could still be looking at $100,000, but because of deflation, it is not worth $100,000 anymore. It could be worth $75,000, or I could lose a physical part of that investment, where my portfolio could fall 15, 20%, 25%, and then I would have lost that, and I consider it a loss for sure. And so even though a position or a security may be paying me good dividends, I do not want the good dividends at the expense of losing my capital. So the companies that I invest in should be growing and should also be growing their dividends. And so that is why you see me take certain positions. And I know that I could be making some changes, yes, but for sure, those are some of the things I consider. I still have Trans-Jamaica. Trans-Jamaica is not going anywhere. It says that it's 34% of my holdings, and that is not just because it has appreciated. It has appreciated much in price, but I have also added some to that position. I think the last time I added would have been when the government offered those additional shares to the public to be purchased. so I don't think I've added anything in this portfolio to my Trans Jamaica. So this is what my portfolio still looks like. I do hope to make some well, I could add some more money to Burrito, or I could add a new position. I have seen positions that are out there, I think, screaming at me that I could add, because the aim is 10, right? And so I still have room for 3. So let's see. All right. I have received some dividends in this quarter 2, 2025. Carreras is still paying me, and I can almost, as Jamaicans would say, put my pot on the fire, wait for my dividends, go to the shop to buy flour, right? And so we have gotten 32,000 there from Carreras. Well, Burrito hasn't paid anything. I don't know. Maybe I need to check to see when they pay dividends, but I'm not seeing anything there in a while. And GK has paid me 8,800. Why did I think it was 9,000? This is what it has worked out to. Maybe it was before taxes that I saw that it would have been more than that. But yes, this is what I get from GK, but I'm not worried about that. I'm still holding that position. For Cygnus Credit Invest, they pay in the 3rd quarter, so I'm awaiting payment for the 3rd quarter. Same would be for Trans Jamaica. Trans Jamaica will pay in the 3rd quarter. The dollar has not paid last quarter because of the reduced income that they've made last quarter, so they didn't pay. And for this quarter, listening to the earnings call, I don't know how promising that would be, but I think that they may pay just because they want to keep the history of paying dividends going. But I do not think that they're in a better position than they were for last quarter. So I'm not even holding my breath for next quarter. So let's see. Alright, PBS, I can also put my pot on and wait for them to pay me so I can buy flour. Paid me 245, and the equivalent of that is about 38,000. Could be a little less or a little more, but we are not overly concerned about that. Total for the quarter is 79,500, which is substantially less than the 1st quarter. And we did talk about that in our last presentation. We spoke to the fact that some of the companies that pay in just in the 1st and 3rd quarter, they usually pay more. And so for the 2nd and 4th quarter, like I know that I wouldn't have gotten as much, and so, but we're still keeping the dividends wheel turning. For sure, we are satisfied. All right. Today we want to look at some of the benefits of investing in a dividend-paying company or dividend-paying security. For one, dividends can be a form of income. If you get it every quarter, then you know that you can use this as a form of income. There's no question about it. Well, it's not a guarantee that the companies will pay, but they're likely to pay, and so you can wait and collect your dividends, use that to pay your bills, or use that for any expenses that you may have. What are other benefits of investing in dividend-paying companies? is that you do not need to sell your stocks to benefit from your investment. You can hold your investments there, and you can sit and get paid to hold your investments long term. And so dividend investing can be very lucrative actually, and it is very passive too, because you do not need to do a lot of work, unlike stuff like real estate, or if you open a business, you do not have to even speak to people if you don't want to. You have, there's nothing to go fix down at the apartment that you have bought, and nothing is wrong with investing in real estate, because I think that is going to be my next venture after I have built up, well, not after I built up my portfolio, but I am really looking to diversify, and if I could get some real estate under my belt, then that would be great. So it's not a bad thing actually, right? But this is something, it is an advantage if you do not have those properties to have to go work on all the time, and you're not being bogged down by the needs of tenants. You can sit in the comfort of your home in your air-conditioned office, and you can have your beautiful computer in front of you, and you can do your trading, or you can just invest and wait long term, which is kind of what I'm doing now. Thank you so much. All right, and you can also, well, dividends can also act as a price stabilizer. When you buy into a company or a security, you can, because the company is paying dividends, that sometimes help to preserve your investment, and it is not, it won't fluctuate as much. It is not as volatile. Most of the blue chip companies, they have very stable prices, and I think that is because they pay dividends. If you just buy into some growth stock, and then the least news or event is going to get investors all running, or just running all over the place, buying and selling, and so. But for companies that pay dividends, you do have a larger pool of what I would call longer term investors. You do have a lot of pensioners, a lot of pension funds, that kind of a thing, and so those dividends can act as a price stabilizer, in my opinion, for sure, and I'm sure that the research will prove that this is actually so. Another benefit of dividend investing for me is that it can act as a stock price catalyst. Sometimes you have the stock price just stagnating there for a bit, just holding firm there, and as soon as they announce a dividend, you get a nice spur of appreciation of the stock, and so it can act as a catalyst actually, because you know what, some people just sit and wait, buy into the stocks of TransJamaica, and they wait until TransJamaica announces a dividend payment, and from that you will have a quick run-up in price of TransJam. It's not just TransJam, right? You have other companies, but TransJam is one of the best examples because of the amount of dividend that they pay, right? And so you have persons just running into the stock, and now it's T+1. But I don't know if it would be best to wait until a day before dividend announcement to go buy into the stock, because that's the time when a lot of persons who have bought into the stock and have been waiting would have been selling, right? So sometimes you can have that like as a dividend capture strategy, where you just buy into the stock very close to when the dividend is announced, and then you want to capture the dividends and then get out. But in this case, I wouldn't say that would have been the best strategy, because now investors are more educated, and they're thinking, well, almost all investors are thinking in the same way. They think that they want to buy the stock and they want to wait until the dividend is announced, and if you wait until the dividend is announced and then you wait until a day before the dividend is announced, or you wait until, well, just too close to when the dividend is going to be paid, then you could be holding that stock for a long time, or you may have to sell at a loss because you didn't position yourself early enough to get that catalyst or to get that price appreciation. And so I do think that for a stock, if you have lots of cash, or even say not lots of cash, right, but if you have a reasonable amount of cash, I think that, or even if you want to use TransJamaica as a bank account, you can use TransJamaica as a bank account, and then you can put the money in there, and as soon as they announce the dividends, the stock price start moving up, then you can sell and collect your profit, right? Then you can wait until after the dividend is paid, when the stock price falls back to a level, then you can get back in, and then you wait again until dividend is announced. But I guess you would have to wait every 6 months. But it depends on how much money you have to invest to. So I do think that these are some benefits of dividend investing, where one, you can use it as an income. Two, you don't have to sell the stocks to realize some amount of benefits from the purchase of the stock, and it can be used as a price stabilizer and reset price catalyst as well. Drop me a comment and tell me if you are in agreement, or if there's anything that you would like to add or take away. Alright, I usually have the section that speaks about what I am doing next and what stock I have, focus stock I have. And the last time we spoke, I did say that Burrito was a focus stock, but I have been looking at other securities, and I do think that some of them deserve to be looked at, and not just Burrito, because there are good buys out there right now. Kingston Wolves, I think, could be a good buy for a long-term holder. It does pay a dividend. I think the last I checked, it was about 2.2 at this. Well, at the current price, it would be about 2.2%, and it's not great, but it's not the worst. You're still being paid to hold the security. Jamaica Stock Exchange, I think, as well, is another good contender for focus stock. Yeah, Jamaica Stock Exchange could be doing good things moving forward, and the price of $12 is not bad to get in at this price and hold it. I think the dividends would be about 3 point something, which would not be bad at all. NCB, I don't know about NCB. I'm still up and down with NCB there. I do not think that I need the risk that NCB comes with, but it is one that I've been looking at. As well, Burrito is still there. I still hold that 1% of my holdings, and it can be one that I can continue to add to. Jamaica Broilers Group is another one. The price came down they're about, was it $19 or so, but it went back into the 20s. I think it is up in the 20s now. But I do think that they have some long-term issues because of the huge loss that they took the last time from the overseas operations. But I do not think that Jamaica Brothers is a bad investment if I was to choose the stock now. Wisynco, I do think that Wisynco is another contender. You know, if you have done the research, you would see that they're expanding their product lines, their storage and all that stuff, and so Wisynco could be a contender as well as Separate. All those are like blue chip companies. I'm not looking right now at any junior market company. I don't know if I see junior market company that I would hold for the long term. Maybe Indies Pharma could go on that list. Just don't have it there. But yes, that's another contender, I think. Alright, this is the page that we spent some time on the last time we spoke, and we want this section to be our capital gain investment section, where we trade the stocks. We hold them for a longer term, but and the positions that we will hold in this section will be for buying and selling, and not for dividend investment. And so we say that we have taken positions into certain securities. I call it position trading. It could also be swing trading based on the number or based on how long we have held the security, the last one that we have sold for. And we did discuss position trading the last time, so we won't go through that again today. But we just want to update you on what we have done so far in this section of the portfolio. We have sold our position in dollar, and I've actually sold my position in Dollar Financial today. Today I was up about 8% in dollar, but of course that fell back to about 5%. Dollar's report wasn't the worst because they have increased their revenue. They have a little fraud concern there going on. I think that's with the ultra segment of the business. I don't know. I can just assume because they just said fraud with some external external parties there, and so. But you should know that the stock price is not driven by so much by results. It's mostly by market sentiment, especially if you're buying and selling, and so it is what the market thinks about the stock. When I say market, the market is the buyers and sellers, right? It's what we think about Dollar Financial that will matter in the end. And so I have liquidated that position today. I was in I think that I was up about 5-point-something%, and I did sell. But the good thing about it is that I didn't sell at a loss. And so after I've paid my broker fees and JCSD cess, that kind of a stuff, I would have about 4.22% gain, which is not great. It's something based on the amount that we've invested into that position. Well, the good thing about it is that we didn't sell at a loss, right? And that is excellent. on any front. If you can recoup your capital and get some on there, it's all good. It's all good. But I didn't see the need, or I didn't want to hold on to dollar further, because some persons will just concentrate on that little part of the report and decide that dollar is not worth holding at $2, and it was $2.62 when I woke up this morning. I decided from last night that I was going to sell it. I should have put my order in, but I sold it for $2.60, and that's okay. I'm not super worried about it. Took my capital invested plus whatever coins I got from that trade, and it did cover my my fees and broker fees and expenses, and then leave me with some. So that's the most important thing. That amount, the amount that I've sold and I have now in cash, you will see that I've changed my dollar position to a cash position. I think that I want to I want to invest that into Trans Jamaica, so I will only have one position in this section, and I want to build a substantial enough position in this one stock. I'm not a fan of this one stock trading, but for now I think that I'll just hold it in Trans Jamaica, maybe as a savings account, and this position I will liquidate. I will sell it when I am in a position of advantage. Right now I'm a little down. I think that I'm down a couple percentage there as well in my Trans Jamaica position. I will add to it. I wanted to add to it today, but I think I want to get it below that $3.70 mark, and it was lingering there. Well, it was below that early in the morning. Of course, I'm lazy to get up, right? But it will. I think that I will definitely get an opportunity to purchase below that 370 mark. I think it's a psychological mark for me. I don't know why, but I want to get it below that, and when I do, I'm just gonna add everything to Trans Jamaica and build out that position. When I do that, I'm sure that from the graphs here you may have an idea as to how much I would like that to be in the end. And so I do think that there's an opportunity here for me to get some capital gains and use that capital gains to build out a new position or add to a position that I currently have in my longer term portfolio, because this is how I think that my dividends can work for me. Because most times when I use the dividends to add to a position, a long-term position, I'm just going to be holding it there, right? Doesn't matter if the position appreciates or not, I just hold it there. And so I'm putting all my dividends into this trading position. Tell me what you think. And so this is my strategy. I'm putting all my dividends into this trading position, and when I've made a profit, because I'm not talking about a loss, but there's quite a possibility, I will use that profit to start building out another position. And so every time I get some dividends, I will put it in this trading position, and then quickly, well, not necessarily quickly, it can be swing or position trading or whatever, I will use that profit from there to build out a new position. It would be very interesting if I could build out a whole position from just using the profits from this trading, just to demonstrate how that can be done. and how beneficial that can be. That would be interesting. I do add some capital to it for my own purse from time to time, not a lot, but I do actually. And I do not separate that from the dividends gain. So, but I will have an idea as to the percentage of the trading portfolio that is actually dividends or capital that I've added, because I keep keep a track of the amount of dividends that I get for the year. And so yes, this is my strategy for this section. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. All right, so far not bad for 2025. We've received 351,900, and separate from that, my percentage gain, capital gain on my entire portfolio is 27.75%, a little down from the 39.75 at the end of 2024, but that is fine. That's quite a bit down. Interesting. I'm not worried about that. I did add to my Trans Jamaica position, and that would have been in excess of 200 and something percent. So I think that would have brought it down a bit. But my Carreras has appreciated a bunch since then as well. Maybe when I make my next video, that will change a bit there, but I'm not too concerned about that. Alright investors, we've come to the end of our presentation today. Remember, keep invested, and OneOneCoco full basket.